And this is Ken Kraetzer for Cadets Media in New York City today for the Navy League Maritime Strategy Conference. And we have the host who organized this, led the team, and that is Captain Frank Russo. Frank, good to see you. What was it like having this very distinguished group of people here today?
You know, I tell you what, Ken, I have to be honest, I was a bit nervous at one point because this is our inaugural event, our inaugural Maritime Security Conference, so you're bringing everyone together. We had a great lineup, I thought, between the Commandant of the Coast Guard, Admiral Fagan, a retired four-star from the Navy, Admiral James Fogo, who heads the Center for Maritime Strategy, several industry experts, Admiral Marga from Coast Guard First District, so a variety, interesting topics. I was surprised at how the dialogue went throughout the entire day between questions that from our panelists to those from the audience and the issues that were brought to the forefront and discussed. I think because this venue is very intimate and it allowed for that dialogue. So I'm very happy about all this.
Very good. Admiral Fogo described the buildup of the Chinese Navy and maritime capability and compared it with the United States, which is lagging behind from his remarks.
I think several things were brought up from this side. And let me just say this much. The theme of this conference was the role of the U.S. flag merchant marine in national security. In many ways, I think this is an area that gets overlooked. And I think if anything came out today, how important this aspect of our national security, our maritime security, the merchant marine, U.S. flag merchant marine plays in this. And I think what was brought also to the forefront was the fact that so many things are still lacking from from this perspective. One example is the number of tankers that are needed by the U.S. Navy in the event of a conflict with China. We're not even close to that. Issues around crewing of U.S. flag merchant marines and the challenges that we're having with that. These were all brought to the forefront today during the discussion, among several others.
One of the comments was that the pandemic caused such delays at the ports, and that before the pandemic, the freighters could come in and be docked right away and be unloaded. And then during the pandemic, delays of as much as 2 weeks were occurring, really delaying shipping of a vast amount of goods into the country. Do you feel like that's starting to resolve itself?
I mean, from that aspect, I think we still got a long way to go. I think we're still seeing the delays. I think there's a lot of lessons learned that the industry has taken from all that event. So I think there's still a lot to be worked out, though. And we'll see. I know Commissioner Benzel mentioned, trying to improve such things as bringing technology into the mix of scheduling, for example, kind of comparing, areas that the maritime industry needs to be. Taking the example of the airlines, airlines are very good, well at scheduling departure times, arrival times, etc. The same thing with the maritime industry. Can we improve that, collect that data, help with that aspect and move things along more efficiently?
And you had a panel with leaders from the Port of New York and New Jersey discussing $250 billion passing through the port each year, but growing concerns about managing cybersecurity and using intel is now the key method to prevent attacks. What did you take from that panel?
It was interesting the way Mr. Fox from from Customs and Border Protection described how they're shifting their focus from reacting to situations to being proactive use of intel. I thought Captain Merchant brought a kind of a grounding, like, yes, cybersecurity is extremely important, and there are still improvements that we have to make. I think Director of the Port of New York, New Jersey, Beth Ann Rooney, pointed out very, very correctly that, yes, it's great to bring all this data together, but we have to be able to protect that data because otherwise it's open to hacking, and that means getting out vital information to our adversaries.
The development of wind farms, certainly a major topic. The growth, 2 major wind farms planned for off of Long Island. And what's involved with that? Security, being able to provide emergency response to them. What did you take away about wind farms?
I mean, I think wind farms bring an interesting element. Obviously, as the nation looks at trying to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, wind farms are going to play an important role. Putting them offshore allows great access to the wind. Obviously, I don't know if I've been in Europe. I've seen the wind farms offshore, seen them onshore. I think, though, it does provide, and you're going to have to provide an element of security around those wind farms to protect them, and to protect also, the fact that if we become reliant upon that as a source of electricity, we're going to have to protect that in addition to everything else that we're trying to do.
Frank, final thought, I would say was a lot of discussion about attracting young people into the maritime industry, to the various academies, but also to the trades that support shipping. What's a key need to help promote working in the field?
I think several of the issues that were addressed. I mean, one, the whole issue around diversity and inclusion, reaching out to other aspects of the population to make them aware of the opportunities that are in the merchant marine, not just at the officer level. It was interesting that the head of the American Maritime Officers Union said they have enough officers to man the ships. However, that said, it's when you go into the deck plates and you look at the able-bodied seamen, people like that, where we're having those shortages, and how do we attract those people? One of my takeaways is, I don't care your background, whatever. We need to be able to access all resources in this country, regardless of race, background, and bring to the forefront. These are great opportunities, great pay opportunities for people in this country.
Very good. Frank, just got to give you an opportunity to promote your dinner coming up in November. Not going to let that pass by at the Plaza. Tell the audience a little bit about that.
All right. So the Navy League of the United States was founded 120 years ago here in New York City. We are celebrating our 120th anniversary dinner. We are very honored to have with us Secretary of the Navy, the Honorable Carlos del Toro will be our keynote speaker. We've also the CEO and president of Huntington Ingalls Industry has accepted to receive our civilian award. It's going to be a great night, a great time. It's going to be at the Plaza. If interested, please go to nynavyleague.org. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. Going to be a great event. Frank Russo, Captain Frank Russo, great to be with you today. You ran a great conference.
Thank you very much, Ken. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you for everyone that did attend. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. This is Ken Kraetzer for CAM Vets Media in New York City.